Welcome! So today we're going to be talking about the most recent 3 chapters of One Piece. If you don't already know, I record these in batches. So when Oda goes on break, we talk about the most recent 3 chapters. So today we're going to be talking about chapters 1082 through 1084, which... Can you stop? It's getting really old. People are tired of it. But I made you lunch. Yeah, right. Oh, that's disgusting. Is this gruel? Uh-huh. I don't want it. You can't make yourself anything better. You don't even know how to cook. That's true, but I have HelloFresh. I've been using HelloFresh for about 2 years now, and we love their recipes. They use seasonal ingredients that are picked at peak ripeness and travel from the farm to your home in less than 7 days, so you know they're fresh. They have pre-portioned ingredients, so you have exactly what you need, which helps cut out food waste and saves you a trip to the grocery store because it's delivered right to your door. And they have a really great variety. They have fit and wholesome, pescatarian, or veggie. We pretty much always choose their Mexican recipes anytime that's available because we love the flavoring. And again, they're delicious. I forgot to wait for Corey to get the camera out to start eating, and I want that meal again. It was so tasty. And if you go to HelloFresh.com and use the code MurphyNapier16, you get your first 16 meals for free, plus free shipping. Thank you HelloFresh for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you for checking them out. Hello, I'm at the beach, so everything's different, and any audio or visual issues that I'm having right now will be fixed next week. I know that you want to talk about Lily. I want to talk about Buggy. So we'll split the difference. We'll start by talking about Sabo, which will lead into Eam and Lily, and then we'll end on Buggy. You're welcome. I love hearing from the Revolutionary Army, their strategies, their tactics, and how successful they've been. We've had a lot of emphasis lately on powers that be not being all that they're cracked up to be, and seeing the Revolutionary Army having a plan, executing it so succinctly and so effectively, incredibly satisfying, and also just kind of adds to the dynamics of we're in the end game. Sabo wasn't actually in Lulicia. Nobody thought he was dead. But them cutting off natural resources from the Celestial Dragons, the distraction of cutting off their food supply, giving room, giving space for different nations, for different kingdoms to rise up and revolt successfully. Attacking cargo ships, cutting off supplies, they're hitting them where it counts and they're being successful at it. And I love seeing this strategy. I love seeing how successful they are, and I love how smart they're being. We also got to see some of the Revolutionary Army players up against some of the admirals, and easily a highlight for me in that whole section was Fujitora. when the Celestial Dragons are screaming, handle this, don't harm us, don't let a hair on our heads be harmed, and Fujitora's like, alright, I'll call down a meteor, I'll kill everyone. It's like, that's some justice there. I love to see it. We also got to see Bonnie in one of these chapters in this flashback. Basically, I don't have a lot to say about the fact that Bonnie and Sabo knew of each other and worked together slightly. Bonnie basically said, okay, I trust my dad with you, thanks for helping him, which is great, but I don't have a lot to say about that other than I feel like this is just Oda reminding us, I haven't forgotten about her. We're coming back around. Don't forget, like, I'm still gonna handle this part, which, you know, yes please, I would like that. But we see Cobra seeking an audience with the 4 elders, getting ready to go into the throne room with them, and basically Vivi is looking to get Garp's help for what's happening to Shirahoshi out there, and Cobra doesn't want Vivi anywhere near what he's about to do. I think, and it's probably not an unpopular opinion, that 100% Cobra went into this room knowing full well that he was gonna die here. Kind of like a Whitebeard thing. He knew he was sick, he knew he was gonna die soon, he knew that if he was gonna go out, he was gonna go ahead and go out with a splash. He was gonna cause an upset first. He was gonna instigate some stuff. And so he wanted Vivi as far away as he could get because he wanted her to be safe. He didn't want her in the line of fire whenever he was going to be executed. But I think he did this with intention. I think he did this on purpose, knowing I'm about to start some things. I'm not gonna make it out of this, but I wanna start something first. So Cobra asks about Lily, his ancestor from 800 years ago who decided not to be a part of the Celestial Dragons and continue to rule Alabasta, which we already knew this happened, but we never had a name for it. He asked about this, gets no answers, and then said, okay, then let's talk about the Will of D, which, oh my goodness, the tenacity of this man to ask that question in this moment. I think okay, so here's my theory. No, let's talk about, okay, everybody's theorizing right now. Nobody knows because we don't have enough information to make any real theories. We're all just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. So here's my spaghetti, I'll throw it at the wall too. I like the theory that Emu is Lily, or Eem. I don't know. Emu seems right to me, but Tekking says Eem, and I live under the assumption that Tekking knows more than me in pretty much everything, so I'll go with Eem. We'll go with Eem. So I like the theory that Eem is Lily, but I think the camp that I'm going to live at is that this is popular, is that Eem has had the operation, the Opie operation, Law's devil fruit. Whoever had the fruit before Law, they performed it on Eem, and now Eem has immortality, right? That's not new. But Eem knew Lily personally while Lily was alive, and I think that when Lily decided not to go with the grand plan that I assume Eem orchestrated, which is to have the Celestial Dragons have this kind of, I view it as a manufactured role. We think we're gods, we elevate ourselves to gods, we think we're the highest power, but that empty throne, someone's sitting on it. It's this kind of like distraction of, oh yeah, they're the bad guys, they're the ones, or whatever, but Eem is really pulling all the strings. That's not really very inspired. I know you probably have thought about that too, but when Lily decided not to follow that plan and to go her own way, I think Eem probably hunted her down and killed her because maybe they were friends, maybe they weren't, and Eem just saw it as a slight. But either way, Eem wanted power, and this individual was not accepting the way that Eem was going to have that power. Which leads me to talk about Lulicia, because this is a flashback, what we're having right now. So I have to wonder, in this flashback we're learning about what the Revolutionary Army is doing, that there are revolts happening, that there are revolutions happening all around, and that Eem is now connected to Lily in some way. So if I have to, I lean towards, was Lulicia one of the first revolutions to happen after the food supplies were cut off? After all this stuff happened, Lulicia was one of the first people to say, then we won't pay our heavenly tribute. We're not going to give you our natural resources. And so Eem said, okay, wipe them off the map. They never existed. I am speculating if maybe Lulicia was one of the first countries, one of the first kingdoms to say, okay, we're not paying our heavenly tribute, and to revolt, to follow the Revolutionary Army, and that's why this happened to them. And if that's the case, then I think that Eem probably did the same thing to Lily when Lily didn't follow the order of how Eem wanted things done. And on that note, we have this letter that Cobra brought up saying that implying that the Will of D, there's something about that within this letter. So I think that Cobra went into that room having already read the letter and also already knowing about Eem. I think that Lily wrote about Eem in that letter as well as the Will of D, and that there's some really vital information in there. Cobra already knows Eem exists. I know his eyes went wide and he looked terrified when he saw Eem. I think that's because this is the looming figure that he's read about and known about, and now he's seeing this figure in the flesh. But I think that Cobra knew about Eem, and I think that Eem was written about in this letter. So Cobra went in to instigate. He went in because if Cobra went into this room knowing that he was gonna die, knowing that he was gonna be executed, which I fully think that he did, then what good does it do to walk in and say, hey, tell me about my ancestor? No? Okay, tell me about the Will of D. No? Okay, I'm dead now. Like, what good does that do? I think he knew that Eem was in the room, or that Eem was listening, and he was instigating bringing Eem out. Why? I don't know yet, but I think he went in looking for this exact result, looking to maybe bring Eem forth and get some answers. So Eem was listening, and in Lily's letter, I think Eem was discussed and the Will of D was discussed, and I think Cobra probably knows more than you or I have any hope to know anytime soon. Again, we're all just theorizing here, none of us know anything at all, but that's kind of where I land with all of this so far. I also also really like trying to find patterns in when I do these 3-chapter discussions. I try to find patterns within these 3 chapters because Oda's a very intentional writer and he usually writes patterns on purpose, either to illustrate or to give us hints about what he's about to do so we can guess it, we can track along with him, or to give us clues about some themes that he's going to explore. So one pattern that I noticed is within these last 3 chapters, each chapter held an example of someone in authority who thought that they were for the good of the people and were wrong, and then how these people were actually being helped. So in 1082, we have Sengoku, who is just tore up that T-Bone would have been executed because of the Cross Guild. We'll talk about it. And can't believe that the people would do this to them. It's our job to protect them. That's what we do. How can we risk our lives protecting them if our lives are in danger because they're trying to kill us? Fair question. How are you protecting these people? There's so much going on in this world that you're not doing anything about. So who is doing something about it? The Cross Guild. This man who killed T-Bone then goes to Buggy and his subordinates, and they tell him, all right, your family is fed. They're not going to starve now. Good job. And now that you're going to have a target on your back, you can join us. You're part of our family now. You're one of us. Obviously, it's not a matter of bad guy, the admirals, good guy, Buggy, because like Buggy did just have this man kill someone to feed his family. So like it's not about that. It's just about the powers that be failing at protecting the people and someone else providing a solution. 1083. We have the Celestial Dragons shocked, absolutely appalled that anyone would dare attack them. They're the Celestial Dragons. They're the gods of these people. How could they treat them so poorly? How could they? So these are people in power that feel that the people should love them and dote on them because they are the authority, but they fail in every possible way at being in that role. So who is helping the people? Who's freeing the slaves? Who's giving them liberty? Who's helping them to rise up and get their freedoms back? The Revolutionary Army. And then 1084, in the end of 1083, we have Vivi rushing in, trying to get to where she thinks Garp is to ask him for help because Shirahoshi is being attacked. Crybaby Princess, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, is being attacked. And Lucci says, I'm here to protect you. Please listen to me. And she's like, swell job you're doing at protecting me. Look at what's happening to her right now. So the people that are in a position of power that are supposed to be protecting the people that are here at the Reverie are failing. The people at the Reverie are being attacked and they're not doing their job. Who helps? The Grand Fleet. The common man, the people who are observers, the people are helping the people. And that's really what it is with the Cross Guild, providing a way for the people that are starving by turning them into murderers, with the Revolutionary Army helping people to rise up and taking down the Celestial Dragons, and now with the Grand Fleet, the people helping the people. That's what it is across the board, people helping people, not those in power. And I definitely think that this is a thematic foreshadowing, but I think that also Oda's been building up to this kind of discussion for a long time. I just want to take note when I see him building up to it. Also, it's great to see the Grand Fleet actually actively doing great things and probably earning the name, earning the legend that we've been teased, like what have they been doing in Luffy's name? And maybe the answer is start a war with some Celestial Dragons. Maybe punch a few, maybe turn one into an accordion. That was so satisfying, seeing Charlos being hammered down into a friggin' accordion. That was amazing. Now let's talk about Buggy. I will follow this man off a mountain. I don't care how much it annoys you. Buggy continues to fall up as he tells the Cross Guild, he's constantly trying to be a side character and falling into a main character role, telling the Cross Guild, I know some good shipwrights. I'll get us a ship. That's something that I can do. You keep planning, you keep being the brains of the operation, you keep handling the heavy work, I can get us a ship. And then because his legend is so strong, because his people believe in him so much, main character kind of ship. And I just love it. I think the ship looks amazing. I love Buggy's reaction when Crocodile and Mihawk are like, this is what we're sailing in. It's brilliant, and I couldn't be happy. There's no better writing than this. And I appreciate the continued bit of Buggy falling up and getting the center stage when he doesn't deserve it in this cross-guild group, and then them just, you know, responding in some simple violence and then continuing on with their strategizing as if he isn't even there. I appreciate the bit. So obviously I love Buggy's speech in this section of the chapter. Not just because it recontextualizes, it gives us more information about Buggy and his relationship with Shanks, but I think it really recontextualizes Buggy as well. Buggy had a dream to be the Pirate King, but he saw so much potential in Shanks that Shanks was already his captain. In Buggy's eyes, Shanks was already his captain. He was ready to follow Shanks anywhere. He was ready to follow him to Laugh-Tale. He may have had dreams and aspirations of being the Pirate King himself, of finding the One Piece himself, but he believed so strongly in Shanks, and he saw so much potential in Shanks that he was content and happy to just follow his captain. And when Shanks kind of took a step back and said, maybe someday, but right now let's just be pirates, you and me, pal, you and me. And Buggy having this grudge about the lost map is just a facade, when in reality he's just let down that his captain isn't living up to his potential, that his captain isn't following his dreams when he knows he's better than that. And I think that says a lot about Buggy and his relationship with Shanks, but also Buggy as a character. He is someone that actually sees potential in people, that sees what people can be, and he calls that out in them and he rallies them. And that's a big part of what makes Buggy so successful as someone who is mediocre. I say that in the most loving way possible, but falls up. It's his ability to rally people and to make people want to follow him. You can feel the passion in his speech when he talks to them about, like, what are your dreams? What did you be? Is this what you signed up to be a pirate for? And at first he tries to rally Mihawk and Crocodile, which Crocodile in Alabasta hints that he went after the One Piece once on his own and failed, and now he's settled with what he's doing with Baroque Works. But so he goes up to these people, I don't know what Mihawk's deal is, but he goes up to these people, one of which this used to be his dream, and he's like, this is what this is about, and he tries to call that out in them, and when they refuse, he throws himself on the microphone. Oh my goodness. And he rallies the crew into this, gives them this impassioned, beautiful speech, goes over the head of the two people who have just finished brutalizing him, goes over their head to rally the crew to go after the One Piece. It's something that he truly wanted to do, and he wanted to do it under Shanks's leadership. And now he's like, you know what? It's time. I'm going. And I love to see that in him. I love to see that passion in him. I love to see him truly believing in the people around him, be it Shanks, be it Crocodile and Mihawk, be it his crew. I love to see him going. And I also want to point out that, like, a year ago, I made a video talking about the fact that I think that all four Yonkos are going to meet on Laugh-Tale. They're not going to meet before that. We're not going to see Luffy and Shanks have a meetup before then. They're all going to be going after the One Piece at the same time, and all four of them are going to meet again on Laugh-Tale. Luffy will find the One Piece, he'll become the Pirate King, Buggy will get the credit, because that's just what destiny is. And it's not really that much of a theory, it's more of just a wild hope and dream, but all I'm saying is we are on path for everybody to be going to the One Piece at once and potentially to get there at the same time. I mean, I don't know how Buggy's gonna collect all the poneglyphs. Maybe he's just gonna see Shanks in the distance when Shanks has found them all, and then he's just gonna follow Shanks. That sounds very Buggy to me. But even though Mihawk and Crocodile aren't convinced about this plan, the crew is. So they're going. Anyway, I'm thrilled to see just a little bit more characterization for my boy Buggy. He deserves it. I know that he's one of Oda's favorite characters, and good. He deserves it. He's one of my favorites too. These last 3 chapters have been so fun. They've been so packed with so much exciting stuff. I love that Egghead Island has kind of turned into Whole World Island. We're not just fixated on this one space. We're zooming out and seeing what's going on all over the place. Again, it feels like endgame stuff. It really feels like Oda isn't doing this island the way he does all the islands. He's doing it different because we really are pulling into the end, which is horrible, and I don't want that. But it's also exciting because we've got so many more reveals coming and so much exciting stuff coming, and I could not be happier. Anyway, let me know what you think. I had a great time with these last 3 chapters. I hope you did too. I didn't even bring up Shanks' shadow because frankly, I don't know. It looks like Shanks' shadow. What am I supposed to do with that? But please do chat with me more about anything that you want to talk about in these last 3 chapters. They've been awesome and I'm so excited to read more, obviously. I post videos every Monday and Friday on this channel, Tuesdays and Thursdays on my other channel where I talk about what I'm reading week to week, do dedicated reviews, lots of reading content over there if you're interested. You can also check out my Patreon. I do live readings of every chapter over there if you want to see. But be sure to chat with me more in the comments. I'll see you again soon. Bye.